ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। We welcome all the participants once again on our IKS-TKDL workshop. This is the second day on traditional knowledge, intellectual property, and people's rights. Today we are very delighted. We have Sir, Mr. Kumar Sir, Anil Kumar Sir, the senior scientist at CSIR TKDL unit. So, sir has an extensive experience on intellectual property rights and laws. Today, sir will talk about how we can protect and preserve our traditional knowledge at IKS and TK. So, sir has the experience of as an advocate also. Sir is looking into the intellectual property prosecution at TKDL unit. So we are very delighted, sir. Over to you, sir. Please start your session.
Thank you, Piyushi. Thank you for the kind introduction. So I welcome all the participants. This is the second day. Should I share my PPT first?
Yes. Yes.
Is my PPT visible to all?
Yes.
Okay. And it is moving also?
Yes.
Okay.
Uttamam.
Thank you, Piyushi. So basically, I welcome all the participants to this IKS-TKDL workshop. So this is the sixth workshop that is being conducted jointly by IKS and TKDL. And we are into the second day. So as per the schedule, we are going to discuss the fundamentals of intellectual property rights. And we'll also see some case studies to understand what these intellectual property matters are. Although we don't have a specific law IP law to protect TK as such, but we are using bits and pieces of different instruments, different legal instruments to protect the TK that we have. So during the presentation, I will try to put some importance on those aspects also. So we'll have a presentation initially, then we'll have a question answer session also. And thereafter we'll have a test, the assessment like we had yesterday. So to start with intellectual property rights, let us first understand what intellectual property rights means. So we all know that IP is the basically, I mean, these are the creation of mind, be it a technological innovation, or it can be an expression through the cultural means. So, and when we talk about these technological developments, I mean, these are protected by several statutes, laws. And these laws are very complicated. The reason for this complication is like these laws are jurisdiction specific. So if we talk about one law which protects inventions in India, so the law in India might be different from the law, a similar law which is applicable in other jurisdictions or other countries. So therefore it becomes a complicated scenario and we must understand the nuances of it. So the whole objective of today's presentation is to understand the main types of IP that are being used for protecting the intellectual creations and how, I mean, these laws, they protect it. So if we take one example uh, of this, this camera, which is put forth, first thing that we must understand is like for the development of any, society, it is very essential to have new ideas of doing things and new ideas of expressing your culture. So be it the technological development that we are talking about, or be it the cultural expression, all these things are protected by these intellectual property creations. And we all know the creators of these, I mean, items, they put a lot of time, effort, and money in doing that. Be it a scientist who is developing some kind of software, or be it an author who has created a novel or a book, or I mean the director of a film. They all, I mean, they put a lot of money, time, and effort in creating all these creations. And until or unless these creations are not protected, I mean, they will be at loss. And apart from protection, they must also get a fair return over those investment that they have made. So the whole scenario of the IPR cycle that is shown in this slide is like, when you create something, it must be protected for a limited period of time so that you get a fair return over those intellectual creations wherein you have made a, I mean, certain amount of, you have invested in those creations. And when you exploit that, it should be open for others to develop further. So all these IP tools that we'll be discussing are based on this whole concept, wherein, I mean, somebody creates, it is protected for a certain period of time, they get an edge or an or monopoly for a certain period of time to exploit it and get fair return, and then that invention is further developed to come up with new ideas or processes. So it's like a kind of cycle which is being used globally. So when I was talking about the whole system, so these IPRs, they basically, these are the main IPRs that we are going to discuss. So for literary works, we have copyrights, and all these laws, basically they have some similar fundamental characteristics, although they differ in some aspect in all, I mean, in each jurisdiction. So that we can understand later, but the basic nuances or the subject matter which is being protected by these IP tools, we'll discuss and understand, and how those tools are being used in TK, that we'll also see. So we'll discuss about copyrights which are being used for protecting literary and artistic creations. Then we'll also discuss about patents which protect the technological inventions. Then trademarks. We'll discuss about trademarks which are being used by the companies to identify their products. And we'll also discuss about industrial designs, geographical indications, and plant variety laws which are being used. So we'll start with patents. So basically, when we talk about patents, we see patents all around us. So be it a light bulb, or be it an advanced advanced phone that we use, be it, I mean, for example, iPhone. So all these technological inventions, they have certain kind of technological part, I mean, the technological intervention in it, so that technological features are being protected by patents. So basically, patents are granted for a product or process for their innovative feature. That means in case they are able to solve a problem in a new way, then that patent is granted for those, I mean, for the product or process, or both. It can be both also. So for example, if you see these two examples that I have taken, so the one patent is from 1900 and one is from 1939. So if you see this rowing, I mean the cycle which has been invented by somebody. So in this cycle, you see that it has a feature of both cycling and the rowing boat. So at that point of time, that for example, in 1900, this invention was might be quite novel, or it might be inventive enough. But over the period, the kind of advancement we have done in this field has led to, I mean, a further, I mean, development in the field. And this technology, this invention which is showed there, might be not inventive at this point of time, because the kind of prior art that has happened in this field is enormous. Okay, so at that point of time it was patented, but we might say that at this point of time today, as of now, it is obvious to a person, I mean, who is skilled in the art of making a bicycle. So if we talk these features in terms of law, so novelty is one of the features which is essentially required to get a invention patented. So novelty is like the invention which has been disclosed, or for which a patent has been applied, is different from the existing knowledge that has happened. Okay. So in case it qualifies to be different or new from the existing prior art, it is novel. Or the second essential characteristics that is needed for getting a patent registered is like it must have some inventive step. Okay. Inventive step is like it must have some technical features which are above the existing prior art, and a person having ordinary skill in that domain, it should not look obvious to that person. Okay. It should be beyond the obviousness. So these are the two essential ingredients which are essentially required for getting a patent. And industrial applicability is a must. Whatever you are applying, be it a product or a process, it must be industrially applicable. Until or unless it's not industrially applicable, the patent will not be granted. And foremost thing that is essentially required is like the matter, the subject matter of the invention must not fall under section 3 and 4 that we'll be discussing. We will be discussing in the second slide, next slide. So basically these patents, these are granted for a limited time. So the law prescribes the time duration which is prescribed in the law is for 20 years. And most important thing is like the invention for which you have filed the patent must be documented properly. So you have to disclose the invention in a way that a person who is having ordinary skill in that art must able to work that invention without any, I mean, further no R&D. So in case there is some kind of no thing which you have, I mean, you have not disclosed properly, then that can be a ground for revocation also. So it's the law is like the amount of information you disclose, that kind of protection you will get. So in case you hide something, you will not get protection for that hidden thing. Okay. So for example, I mean, the subject matter contains a wide variety of items. And we can get a patent for apparatus, devices, machines. I mean, patents are also granted for chemicals, formulations, no? And we can also get the drugs also patented. There are certain biological processes with human intervention, which are, although these biological processes, they are not patentable, which are existing in nature, but in case you have you have some interventions made through your intellectual input, then those are patentable. Then certain biological products are also patented, and there are certain processes which can be patented. These are some of the pictures which show the items which have been patented so far. So the section 3 which I was talking about, that something which falls under section 3 is not patentable. So these are the categories which talks about certain kind of invention which are not patentable in India. Okay, so these items are not patentable in India, although some of the items might be patentable in other jurisdictions. So as I told you, these laws are jurisdiction specific. So we are discussing only the Indian law. So if you see the first item which is given in this slide is the frivolous inventions are not patentable. Okay, and when we talk about frivolous inventions, so for example, if we consider a machine which claims to generate energy without any input, that's a kind of frivolous invention. So such kind of inventions are not patentable in India. So okay, the another bar that is there on the patentability of, I mean, inventions in India is like, in case something with, I mean, the invention which is claimed in the application is contrary to public order or morality, or it might cause some serious prejudice to the health of human or animals, or I mean, or environment, then those inventions are also not patentable. So for example, if we take an example of biological weapon, so in case somebody comes up with something which can be used as a biological weapon, that is not patentable in India. Likewise, the point C, it talks about the discovery of scientific principles or discovery of living things or non-living substances in nature. So something which is discovered in nature is not patentable. So for example, if we discover a new mineral, or we come up with a new mathematical theorem, those things are not patentable in India. And this section 3D, that is also very important because it has been, I mean, debated a lot. Okay, so if we found, we come up with a new crystalline form of a known drug, which does not improve the therapeutic effect of of that drug, is not patentable. So discovery of a new form of known substance is also not patentable. And the section 3 says that mere admixture which leads to aggregation of properties will not be patentable. Okay. Then mere aggregation or duplication of devices in a known way is also not patentable. So if we see an example of this clause, I mean this invention, we can say that a torch with a built-in radio, if we come up with a torch which has a built-in radio in it, that is mere aggregation or duplication of the known devices. Okay. And we also know the working of these two devices. The intellectual input that has been put in is to just aggregate those two devices. So in those scenario also, I mean, that invention is not patentable. Apart from that, in case we come up with a new method of planting crop, that is also not patentable under section 3H, because it says methods of agriculture or horticulture are not patentable. Likewise, the method of treating humans or animals is also not patentable. So in case I develop a surgical procedure for doing bypass surgery, that is not patentable in India. Okay. Then apart from that, in case you develop, I mean, in case you have some plant or animal in whole or any part, that is also not patentable. Seeds are also not patentable as such, but I mean, some of them, I mean, the microorganisms, in case they have some human intervention, those are patentable in India with some kind of limitation, not only in the true sense. Apart from that, mathematical business methods and software, they are not patentable. Softwares, they fall under copyright. So I mean, they are protected under a different law. Therefore, those are not protected under trademark this thing patent law. Apart from that, subject matters of copyright and designs, they are also not protected under section 3L. Then scheme or method of mental act or playing games, those things are also not patentable. The way we present the information, it's also barred from registration under section 3. Then integrated circuits which are being used in the electronic item, I mean products, those things are also not patented. And most importantly, section 3P, something which in effect is traditional knowledge or is an aggregation of the known properties of traditionally known component is not patentable in India. So if we say the use of turmeric for wound healing, we come up with a formulation which is helping the patients to treat the wounds using turmeric. That is not patentable for the reason that the wound healing property of turmeric is already known in our traditional texts, and we are using it from a long time. It has been a part of our culture and tradition. So those things which are in effect, in effect, our traditional knowledge, those are being barred from barred from getting a patent under section 3P. And traditional knowledge, I mean, most of the things which fall under, I mean, this section, they are not patentable until or unless there is a substantial improvement in those components. And lastly, something which is having inventions which are related to atomic energy, they are also not patentable under section 4. So to summarize these things, it's like in case we come up with an invention which is novel, or I mean, it is having inventive step and industrial applicability, those things are patentable until or unless they are not falling under section 3 and 4, which have been mentioned in this slide. Okay. Yes. So in case somebody who has got a patent, then he gets certain rights under patent law. And those patents are like, those rights are like for a product, he can offer that product for sale, or he may sell or import those products in India. And in case somebody without the authorization of the patent holder does these activities, he's infringing the rights of the patent holder, and he has all means to restrain the unauthorized act which is done by somebody who is not authorized to do that. Likewise, in case you have a process patented, then you can stop an unauthorized person from using it, offering that process for sale, or selling that process to somebody. Or he may also stop products which are prepared or manufactured using that process. Okay. So these are the rights given to them, and in case somebody is infringing those rights, then it's a patent infringement, wherein the respective court, I mean, he may approach the respective court or the administrative authorities to stop that infringement. And when we talk about infringement, these are basically, I mean, of two types. One is I mean, direct infringement. And direct, when we talk about direct infringement, there might be scenarios wherein the features of the patented item are exactly similar to the features of the infringing item. So in case both the features or the claims they match, then it's a literal infringement, and it's very easy to prove also in the court of law that these two items, they are almost similar, and I mean there is an infringement. However, there might be a scenario wherein I mean the features are not similar, but the kind of I mean the outcome is coming from that process. I mean that those items is similar. It's like a similar kind of work is being done through a different process. So it's a kind of no equivalence that we can create. So the output may be same, although the elements are not similar, but output is same. In that scenario also, we can say that it's an infringement. Okay. And there are two other categories wherein I mean inducted is like uh, somebody is influencing a third party to influence the knowingly that something is patented, but he influences other party to infringe. Then it's all, I mean that party is also liable for infringement, and both the infringing and the person who is inducing both are liable for infringement. And the another category is contributory, wherein somebody contributes to the infringement. So this was all about the patents. Now we'll discuss about the copyright. So basically copyright, I mean, these are the rights which are given to given to the authors or the creators of literary, dramatic, musical, and artistic works. So it's a wide range of a, a wide range of articles that fall under this category. And if we talk about the items that fall, so in literary category, we can say that poems, stories, novels, reports, all these which are having literary expression, they are copyrightable subject matters. For example, I mean, with regard to dramatic items, they are also falling under copyright, and protection is being given to them. Yes. So one thing which is important in this category is like, if you see the items in green, the essential requirement for getting a right under this category is like they must be original in their expression. Okay. And first thing that we must understand is the right is given for expression. In case you have something in your mind and you have not expressed it on paper or expressed that item in certain form of no expression, then the protection will not be granted. So the work has to be expressed on paper, or you must perform it in case you want to get protection under copyright. So for literary, dramatic, musical, and artistic works, these works need to be original and expressed on some kind of material. Okay. For cinematographic films also, I mean, we get the copyright, but there is no need of having originality. I mean, so the combination of literary, musical, or artistic work can form a cinematographic film, which may not be original in its expression because it is combining these three or four elements, which are in term no original, but originality is required for those individual items, but combination of those is not, must not be original in its expression. So likewise, if you see the sound recordings also, so they might not be original in its expression, but the individual components like musical work that is forming that sound recording must be original in its expression. Okay, so this is the kind of essential requirements which are required for copyrightable subject matters. So these are some of the examples which have been given, and so these are some of the rights which are granted to the authors or the owners of the copyright, and they may regulate the use of the copyrightable subject matters accordingly. So if you see, the first right is like reproduction of the work in various forms. So in case you have, you have authored a book, So you have all rights to regulate the publication or, I mean, the sale of those books. And you may also regulate the distribution of copies thereof. Okay. And in case you have performed something, then you have the right to control that. Then you can also regulate the broadcasting or further communication of that work to the public. You may also regulate the translation. It's the kind of, converting items into different languages. Then adaptation is also one of the item which is regulated under this law, wherein you can make, I mean, the example of adaptation is like you have a novel and you are just making a movie out of it. So it's a different kind of adaptation. So you can regulate the adaptation of a novel to a movie also. So it's a very broad category of rights which have been given under this law. And most importantly, there are three categories of rights which are granted. One is like economical right. So we have already discussed the kind of activities which are regulated through the under this law. So we have economical rights wherein you can regulate these activities for economical gain. Apart from that, we have moral rights. So these are different rights. In moral rights, you have a right to attribution. You can claim that I am the author, although you have transferred your rights to such somebody. So for adaptation, you have given right to a film producer to make a movie out of a novel. But still, you have a right to attribution to say that that novel belongs to me and the movie has been made out of my novel. So that right remains with the author. Moreover, you have a right to restrain the further user from distorting the actual work that you have made. So in case you have given right to a producer to make a film out of your novel and he intends to make certain changes which you feel are detrimental to the work. So you have all the rights to stop that person and say that I have a moral right. Okay. And you can't change the nature of the work. Okay. So these are certain kind of moral rights which are attached to the copyrighted subject matters. Apart from that, you have performer's right in case you know you have performed something. So you have a right to, performance, the performance also, which are, a part and parcel of the rights granted under copyright law. And with regard to remedies, if you talk about the remedies, we have civil remedies. You can injunct a person, you can get damages, you can also ask for compensation, account of rendition of accounts. Then apart, these are the civil remedies. And when we talk about criminal remedies, you may file an FIR because the certain acts are cognizable under criminal law, and there can be a punishment of fine under the laws. And there are certain administrative measures also wherein you can stop the infringement in case somebody who is not authorized to perform these activities, he is doing so without your permission. So this was all about the copyright law. And now we'll talk about trademark laws. So basically, these are the marks. We usually see certain marks which are being used by the companies to identify their products. And such kind of marks are being used from years. Okay. From beginning, we know when somebody used to produce a product or they just offered some services, they used to just put some mark to make the consumer aware that it belongs to somebody or they have produced it. So it was a kind of a tool used to identify the products of one person from other. So trademark at present is very important IP tool which is used uh, across the globe, and there are different type of marks. Uh, just wait a moment. Yes. So there can be a word, a design, a sign, symbol, shape of goods. They are also used as trademarks. The kind of packaging you are doing, the kind of color you use on your products, the packaging, that is also a part of trademark. Then color combinations that you are using, anything which can relate to your identity, which can link the product to your identity. Those things are registered under trademarks. Okay, so these are some of the examples which we see in our daily life, and we are some of the trademarks being used by the MNCs. So if you talk about the kind of protection which is granted for trademarks, is like it's for 10 years. We saw that patents are for 20 years. And for trademarks, if we register a trademark, we get an initial protection of 10 years, which can be further renewed. Okay. And further renewal is also for 10 years. So it's like you have to renew it every 10 years till you are using it. And in case you are not using it, you may drop it, or under law, there is a provision that in case you are not using that trademark for a certain period of time, then a third party can apply for revocation of that or removal of that trademark from the trademark register. Okay. And likewise, like the patents, it's a tradable commodity. So you can license, assign your trademark partially or fully to the third parties. So you can get revenue out of those those assignments. Okay. And this is one of the examples that I have taken. Apart from linking the product to the producer, these trademarks are being used to certify certain items. Okay. So we have seen that some of the lawyer associations, they use a mark. Okay. Some of the CAs, they also use certain kind of certification mark. Okay. So this is one of the example. This is from Kenya, wherein these data baskets, they are being produced in Teveta County. So the registration that they have used is for the association that they have formed. So the traditional basket makers, they formed an association. It's a kind of collective mark they have registered for their own association, wherein it provides a standard for quality also. So in case like we have certain certification marks in India. So they have created their own certification mark, and they are using a kind of symbol. In case that symbol is put on Toyota, these baskets, Toyota baskets, it signifies that it is produced by that association and it will have certain kind of qualities. Okay. And it's a successful model wherein they have used, the trademark law for protection of the kind of traditional activities they are doing. So it's a way of, it's a better way of protecting the traditional knowledge or preserving the traditional knowledge or the standards which are there using a trademark law, kind of law which is available. So now we'll discuss about industrial designs. Okay. So we all see that designs, they are very appealing to our eyes. Okay. So that's the reason, a lot of companies, they put a lot of effort in in developing new designs. Okay. And that's the reason there has been a need for protecting those designs. Okay. So something which is very small might appeal to your eye, or something which is very different from others can catch your attraction. So those things are essentially needed for making a choice of consumer. Okay, that's the reason they are protected under industrial designs. So the aspects that form a part of industrial designs are like the shape of the product. So we see a lot of bottles there. Okay, they all have different shapes. Okay, so the kind of shape of product has, the configuration it has, the surface pattern of the product, the patterns or ornaments. These are the elements along with, you can use certain lines also. Okay. So the composition of lines or colors, we use black lines, 3 lines for Adidas. So it's a kind of although it falls under trademark also, but the lines they use on their products, they signifies, some kind of appealing nature. So those things are protected under industrial designs. The essential requirement is like that design must be applied to an article. Okay. So until or unless you have not applied the design to an article in actual sense or practically, those things are not protectable. And that application has to be done through manual, mechanical or chemical process. Okay. So if you see the shoe that is shown in the slide, so there is a specific design which has been applied to this shoe, which make it more attractive. Okay. So there is nothing related to functionality. It doesn't talk about functionality. It talks about only the aesthetic or the kind the way you feel it. Okay. It's a feeling effect only. And so if we talk about the essential ingredient that is required for getting a design registered under industrial designs, that is, it has to be new or original in its application. Okay. So when we say new, it is like the design must be new, or if we talk about the originality, is like it has been applied for on that item for the first time. And these are some of the items which are not, which are barred from registration. Okay. So in case we are applying a design which part forms a part of inner portion of an article, which is not visible. For example, if we have a watch, okay, so the outer feature which can be seen from the eyes or can be felt, those things are registrable under industrial designs, although in case you made some changes in the inner portion which is not visible. So those things, although they are innovative or new or original in its application, they don't qualify to be protected under industrial designs. Likewise, some of the items like building, their structures, okay, those are also not, they are not capable of being registered under industrial designs. And something which, I mean, an article which can't be sold separately. Okay. So in case I have something, I mean, I make an article which can't be sold separately. So that has to be a part of the original item and it can't be registered separately. So registration is to be done for the both products at the same time. Okay. And we cannot protect something which is, I mean, a common variation used in trade. Those are also barred from registration. Apart from that, these are all other items which are also barred from registration. If we talk about the duration of the protection that has been granted under this law is for 10 years, and which can be extended for further 5 years, and the total protection is 15. Okay, so not beyond that. So this was all about, you know, the industrial designs. Now we'll talk about geographical indications. So these are very important. No, this is a very important kind of, you know, tool that is being used, and these basically it covers the science which are used to, which are, just give me a second. Yes, which are applied on products which have a specific geographical origin, and that geographical, yes. So these are the signs which are applied on applied on products. These are not applicable on services. So these are the signs which signifies that a product is has originated in a specific geographical origin, and that due to that geographical origin, it has certain kind of qualities and reputation attached to it. Okay. So for example, if we see in India, we have three categories wherein GI is granted to products. Okay. So for example, if we take the example of agricultural products which have been mentioned. So we all know that Darjeeling tea is the first and the best example that we can, you know, study under GIs. So the Darjeeling tea signifies that the tea has been, or the tea has originated in Darjeeling, and we all know the kind of, you know, quality it has and the reputation it has created. Okay, and precisely that quality or the reputation which has over the time linked to this product is due to the climatic conditions, okay, and the weather that area has. Okay, so basically that climatic condition and the weather, it gives a specific kind of quality to that product, and there must be a direct connection between the location, the product, and the quality it has. Okay, so in case all these things match, then it qualifies to be protected under geographical indications. So apart from Darjeeling tea, you can see the Dero turmeric, which is shown in the figure, then Guntur chili. These are some of the examples. We have a long list of GIs now registered. And apart from that, apart from agricultural products, it might also happen that a certain kind of skill has developed in a geographical location. Okay, so that's the reason manufactured goods are also covered under GI. So be it a handicraft item, be it a industrial good or a food stuff, we can get GIs on these items also. Okay, for example, Banarsi sari. Okay, so the kind of raw material there and the kind of skill that has generated over the years and generations, that leads to a specific kind of product which comes, I mean, the kind of no saris which are being produced there. So they also qualify to be registered. They have been registered as GI. Okay. We have some more examples like Apatani textile. I believe it is granted now. Earlier it was pending when I prepared this slide. Then we have Mysore sandal soap that is also protected as GI. Apart from that, we have naturally occurring products that also qualifies to be protected under GI. For example, this Chinar Balwa Patthar, Makrana marble of Rajasthan. So these are certain few examples which are protected under GI. So as I told you, so these are the basic attributes that needs to be proved, I mean, to be shown to the registry. So there must be a specific geographical area from where the product is originating, or the kind of skill that exists in that area. It has to be designated properly on a map. Okay. And you have to explain the kind of reputation or quality that product has. So it must be distinctive in its existence. So nature, quality, or the repute that the product or the the product has established qualify for that. And there must be a linkage between the geographical area and the reputation. Okay. So you have to give the details of that. Then it must be unique also. And apart from that, you have to submit certain text which are needed for proving those things. So for example, these both Banglar Rasgulla and Odisha Rasgulla, they are now protected separately as distinct geographical indications. But initially there was a fight. So both the states, Odisha and West Bengal, they contested that the Rasgulla belongs to their state. I mean, the origin is from their state. But after examination, it was found that both the products, they are significantly different. They have distinct quality and characteristics. That's the reason, I mean, the registry that is decided that there may be separate applications for the products, because they both qualify as to be registered as separate GI items. Okay. And this is one of the examples wherein there is a, so we all know that Varli paintings, okay, it's in the Konkan region. So Varli paintings are traditionally practiced practiced during certain functions in that area. And these are the paintings that are being drawn during those functions, and it's a kind of uh, expressing their culture through paintings. And originally the paintings, they were done on the mud walls with white paste, and that paste was made up of rice, water, gum. Okay. And the brushes were made from bamboo sticks. So it's a specific traditional art which exists there. And the paintings were basically motivated from the songs that the people used to sing during those occasions, and the stories that were being told. So those are the motifs of those paintings. And it's a kind of mix of the cultural expression and the kind of TK which is there for making the raw ingredients or the items used for making these paintings. But if you see the application which has been made, it has been made under class 16, 20, and 25. So as we see, originally these paintings were made on walls, expressed through these ingredient, I mean the brushes made of bamboo. But now the application has been accepted for class 16. That means these paintings will be applied to papers, notebooks, cardboard, plastics, and they will qualify to be GI items. Apart from that, in class 20, they can be applied to furnitures or wood items. And under class 25, they can be applied to garments and clothes. So it's a kind of merger of TK, protecting it through GIs and applying it to new or different areas which were originally not a part of the actual the expression. But now, and since the application has been granted, I mean the people can use these paintings on these new items, and they will qualify to be the GIs. Okay. Apart from this is one of the additional tool which is being used for protecting plant varieties. And the plant variety protection and Farmers' Right Act of 2001. It's a sui generis law. Okay. So unlike other countries, majority of the countries, they protect the new varieties in their existing laws. Like some of the countries, they protect under patent law, but we have not followed those things, and we have come up with a new law which specifically protects the new plant varieties. Okay. And it is unique in a way that we have incorporated certain additional features. So UPOV is the international agency which takes care of the harmony between the laws across the countries. So they have specified certain obligations, but we have the law which we have enacted is like UPOV plus. So we have complied to the obligations under the UPOV union, and apart from that, we had added certain additional features to protect our farmers also. Okay, so it comprises of breeders' right, farmers' right, and researchers' rights. And if we talk about the essential requirements, just like it must be, I mean, the variety that is being protected or applied for protection must be distinctive. It must have uniformity and stability over the generations. Okay, so these are some kind, I mean, the different varieties which can be protected. So we have new varieties. So we have no certain criteria. It has to be novel, distinctiveness, uniformities should be there, stability must be there. So when we talk about extant varieties to be protected, novelty is not there, but other three statistics are essentially needed. And it talks about the rights which are granted to the person who has applied and the duration. So we'll share the PPT. So you can go through all these kind of varieties that are available. So I mean, a farmer can also apply for farmer's variety. Okay. So it's a kind of innovative thing that our legislation has done. So we have um, tried to protect our farmers, and we have taken care of the scenario that exists in our country. So I believe this is the last IP tool that we'll be discussing. So this is like the protection of the layout designs. Okay. So we all see when we open our electronic items, we basically see the kind of the mesh that is shown in the figure on the right side. So basically certain kind of elements, they are put on a semiconductor. I mean, it's a kind of it's a kind of circuitry arrangement. So this circuitry arrangement comprises of various elements. It contains transistors, it contains some kind of wires to make connections. It has certain kind of diodes. So it forms a part of your electronic device. Okay. So basically the subject matter which is protected under this law is like the layout design. The three-dimensional disposition of these circuitry elements and transistors is protected under under this law. So basically the protection is essentially required because arrangement of these circuitry elements plays a very key role when we talk about the size of an electronic appliance. So you have to do a lot of R&D to arrange things, and the functioning of that item depends on the kind of layout design you have. So it requires a lot of investment, time, and money. So that's the reason these layouts are to be protected, so that the kind of investment that has been made should be protected for a certain period of time. So basically, if you see the three-dimensional disposition, it looks like this I mean the map which has been given. Okay, so it outlines the kind, I mean, how these transistors and other elements, I mean, they are put there and how they are connected through these wires. So it's a kind of expression which is done in electronics. And with regard to the essential requirements for registration, the layout design has to be distinctive inherently. That means in its own, it must be different from others. Okay. And then another characteristic that is required is that they must be capable of distinguish themselves from others. Okay. So it's like if you are combining two maps, they must be combined in a way that they must not be similar to the existing one. Okay. So inherently distinctive is like it must be inherently distinctive. Okay. And in case it is similar, then it must be similar in a way that it is not exactly copying from the others. So combination of two, or that's the reason combination two or more layouts can lead to a new layout design which is capable of being registration. So in case it is not original or devoid of the intellectual effort, it is not patented. It can't be registered under this law. And in case the item is exploited 2 years before the date of application, then also it is not registrable. Okay. So the protection is given for 10 years, and then you can file it. So to summarize, I mean, we have different kind of IPR types that we have discussed. So we have discussed about patents, okay, that talks about inventions. We have talked about copyright. It protects literary, musical, and artistic works. Then we have talked about trademarks, certification marks, collective marks. Okay. Then we have talked about geographical indications in detail. And there are certain examples which have been there. We have talked about industrial designs, layout circuit, layout of integrated circuits, and plant varieties. So now if you see this, no, this figure, we will be able to understand the kind of IP rights which are involved in a single product. Okay, so it covers trademarks, it covers patented items, it covers designs, it covers copyright, it covers trade secret that we have not discussed. It's a kind of protection that is available. We don't have a no law in India, but it is protected under contract law. So it's like in case you have something which you are protecting secretly, then you must have proper agreements with your employees, the person who are dealing with those secrets, so that it is not leaked or the confidentiality is not breached. Okay. So when we summarize and we see certain kind of similarity between these IP tools. Okay. So basically they are granted for product or process or both. Then we have a specific criteria for protection. The subject matter is different. Okay. Essential requirements for protection are different. Then they confer exclusive rights like patents for 20 years. Copyrights is 60 years after the death of the author or creator. Then we have certain limitations and exceptions, and they are limited in time. Okay. And if we talk about the differences, then the subject matter which is protected is different in each tool. Then requirement of grant are different. Then conditions for protection are also no, they are varying in nature. Then the rights which are granted and duration are also different. So this was all about. And if we summarize, I mean, these tools can be used for protecting creativity and inventions. Although TK, they fall under different category, but yes, some of the elements of TK we can protect under IP. And I mean, some of the elements, they are very, they gives you an edge to get commercial rewards, or I mean get proper return on your investment. Some of the tools, they are basically consumer centric, like trademark and GIs. Apart from making the product I mean look different or innovative, they also give certain kind of protection to the consumers so that they are not confused while deciding on those things. Then it gives a boost to the innovation, and basically these tools are being used for getting advantage in the society. Okay. And they are essentially needed for the betterment of human mankind, because to progress we need new ideas to solve things or express our culture. This was all about the IPR tools, and thank you for the patient hearing. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much for
Should we
this
take the
kind of
questions or
informative
first?
lecture.
Should we take
So,
the questions first, or you will go with the assessment
whatever,
first?
ma'am, I request you to give to say
I
a
think
few
we'll go
words.
give them the assessment because I think many of them are very, very, interested in the assessment. So let's
Yes.
go with the assessment. The only
So,
request that I have from the participants is that, until the end of the session, please have patience because the link for the assessment will be given only after the lecture is delivered. So please pay attention to the lecture because the questions will be based on whatever is being communicated to you through the lecture. So I request all of you to have patience and listen to the lecture actively. Thank you.
okay. So, you are given 10 minutes to submit the assessment. So, I am sharing the link. Yes. I have posted the link in the chat box. So please complete within 10 minutes. Then we can discuss your doubts and any query, questions, whatever.
So in case, not in case, you have to just copy this link and put that link into your browser. So it will be easier for you to access the form.
3 minutes left. Please submit. We have another 3 minutes. Time is up. Please submit. I hope everyone has submitted. Hmm. Yes. So we request all the participants, please raise your digital hand if you have any query or doubt or any other, if you want to know any other information. Please raise your digital hand. In between, sir, we can pick some question from the chat box. Okay.
Yes, please.
Sir, whatever mentioned in the slide, for example, what is not patentable in India is also not patentable in other countries like Canada or UK.
See, law is different in all countries. Okay. So these laws are jurisdiction specific and they are aligned to the local needs. So for example, if we take the example of, I mean, if you see our country, it's agriculture no oriented. So we have put in a clause wherein it says the method of agriculture or horticulture are not patentable. So it might so happen that other country, they might put these categories, I mean, in the patentable subject matter. So they are basically, essential characteristics which are provided by WIPO. So those are the things which have to be essentially there, but in line with your domestic need and your policies there, you can have certain kind of add-on features. But it should not restrict the trade. So according to that, all countries, they have different parameters. Okay. So something which is patentable in India and has been granted a patent in India might not be patented in other countries. Okay. So in case you can give certain specific example, I can comment on that. But laws are different in all countries.
From Janani ji, regarding the copyright, how long it may last?
So the duration of copyright is, I mean, it's very long, no? So in case you have authored a book, so the duration of copyright is like the lifetime of the author plus 60 years. Okay. And those 60 years will start from the first day of the calendar year after you die. Okay. So it's like your life plus 60 is starting from the next calendar year, first day of the next calendar year. So even after your death, those rights will be there for additional 60 years. So your heirs or no, the legal assignees, they can enjoy those rights.
From Professor Nilamji, can recipes be patented or copyright?
See, abhi thumb rule ye hai, the what we discussed is for getting one thing patented, it must be having technological intervention. Okay. And moreover, it has to be novel in its expression. तो अगर ये दोनों चीजें हैं और इंडस्ट्रियल एप्लीकेबिलिटी है तो दैट विल बी पेटेंटेड. ओके. और हमने देखा कि वी हैव सीन दैट द लिटरेरी, ड्रामेटिक, आर्टिस्टिक, म्यूजिकल एंड सिनेमाटोग्राफिक फिल्म्स दीज आर कॉपीराइटेड. तो अभी आप रेसिपी को छोड़ दीजिए, यू टेक एनी ऑफ द एग्जांपल्स, इफ दे फॉल अंडर कॉपीराइटेबल सब्जेक्ट मैटर्स उनका कॉपीराइट होगा. एंड इन केस they fall under the essential characteristics of patent, वो पेटेंट होगा. टू गिव योर एग्जाम्पल, कॉपीराइट हम लोग दे सकते हैं रेसिपी के, जो आपने अगर रेसिपी को बनाने के लिए इन केस यू हैव एक्सप्रेस्ड द प्रोसेस ऑन पेपर, तो वो रेसिपी का पेपर जो है दैट विल बी कॉपीराइटेड. ओके. बट अगर उसमें आपका इनोवेटिव फीचर्स हैं देन डेफिनेटली इट कैन बी पेटेंटेड ऑल्सो.
From the audience, Kirtika ji.
Sir, namaste.
Yes.
Sir, is copyrights eligible for online work, sir?
Yes, yes. Both
I have.
online and offline, but they have to be expressed in a way. Okay. तो जैसे ही आप एक्सप्रेस करते हैं, द ब्यूटी ऑफ कॉपीराइट इज लाइक आप उसको रजिस्टर करें ना करें, यू गेट द राइट. ओके. द मोमेंट यू क्रिएट, okay, the right is created under statute. Unlike trademark law में until or unless you are not getting it registered, you will not get right. Okay. Or right under the law. Okay.
Right.
You may get rights under common law, but आपको अगर infringement suit file करना है, in case you want to file an infringement suit, it must be registered under trademark law. But in copyrights, the law is like when you create something or express on paper or another, I mean material, then your right starts. Whether you register it or not, you can take recourse to the law, Copyright Act of 1957,
Okay, sir.
irrespective of the fact कि आपने register किया है, and both online and offline creations, they are copyrightable.
I have few more questions.
Yes.
In the trademark slides, when it was shown, I had seen this Starbucks coffee also. But Starbucks coffee, I guess it's not of Indian origin, right? Then in that case, trademark is eligible. Is Starbucks coffee eligible for trademark?
Yes, yes, yes. Irrespective of the jurisdiction, anybody across the, I mean, the globe can come to India and file their trademarks. So residency is not an essential criteria for getting IP rights, at least.
You said that in the designs and all those things, whichever is an interior or whichever is not seen explicitly is not applicable. In that case, why the building structures will not be eligible? Building structures are visible, right? They are there.
No, building structures, they are, I mean, they fall under different law. That's the reason. Not, I mean, they are barred just because they are copyrightable subject matters.
Oh, fine.
So something which is protected under one law cannot be protected under different laws.
Right.
So that's the reason. Yes.
And last question is that Darjeeling tea and also Nilgiris tea is also under GI, right? But I guess they'll be having different criterias.
criteria is like they are from different locations. The quality is different. They have their specific characteristics linked to that geographical location, and they have different reputation also.
Okay.
So somebody who is fond of Darjeeling tea might not like the other tea.
Right.
Due to certain characteristics or quality.
Okay.
So it's like they give a different kind of reputation. So when you talk about Darjeeling tea, so it's a kind of different taste
Yes.
that attracts you to that product. So it's all about the reputation and quality that it has.
And geographical indication for how many years it is? Like
It's again like trademark. You can renew it initially for 10 years. So it can be renewed till you are using it.
okay. Okay, sir. Dhanyavad.
Thank you.
So from Dr. Muhammad, if a book has been translated by two authors separately in the different years of a same book, and one is claiming author's translation of his own, who can claim the originality under copyright law?
See, it's a mixed kind of question. So when you're translating a book, so in case that book is under copyright term of the original author, you have to seek authorization from the author. In case you are not seeking authorization from the original author to make a translated copy, then you are violating his copyright. Okay, this is the thing which I wanted to put forth before I answer the question. Then answer the second, the question that has been put is like two person, they have translated same book. Okay, so it might happen that they have expressed those books in a different way. Okay, so in case the expression is different, then they both have their copyrights in their own work. But the thumb rule is those both work should not be substantially similar. So in case they are substantially similar, then they are not, I mean, they don't qualify to be registered because they have striking similarity with, each other. So the amount of similarity they have, that will be struck down, and the kind of different expression they have, that will stand. So this is the law which is being used.
If from Gaurav ji, if a pharmaceutical company discovers a new use for a plant that has been used in traditional medicine for centuries, should the company be allowed to patent this new use, or should it be considered an extension of traditional knowledge?
See, when we talk about the novelty feature in patents, it is like we compare the application vis-a-vis the existing knowledge. So we look for the prior art, okay, the knowledge which existed. In case that new use is not documented in traditional knowledge or elsewhere, then that qualifies to be patented because it is novel in its application. Okay, but then comes the obviousness feature. Okay, then we are saying that that plant is being used for respiratory disease, for one kind of ailment, which is very much linked to a similar disease. Then the concept of obviousness comes. Okay, so we can say for one disease it is being used, and for similar kind of disease it may be used. Then it comes within the ambit of a person who is having the skill in manufacturing those formulations using that plant. He may say that it is very obvious. A person who knows how to treat this ailment using this plant can also use this. So there is no intellectual input. So you have to first establish the novelty, which is established in the present case, but you must also overcome the obviousness that a person who is having skill in preparing the formulations using that plant to treat a disease should not say that using it for different kind of disease is also very obvious. अगर वो obvious है तो that then it doesn't qualify to be patentable. Otherwise, in case you can overcome this obviousness thing, it is patentable.
I think to add to what Anil ji had mentioned, under section 3D, method of use is not allowed ordinarily. But if in case you're able to show novelty and inventorship, and prove that to the patent office, you may be granted a patent.
From the audience, Ajit ji.
Yes, thank you,
Hi,
sir.
dear.
Namaste.
Yes.
Sir, as we see in the yesterday's ma'am's presentation, there are two types of traditions we have in our country. Like one is documented. In one type tradition, they have documented their practices, and in one type of tradition, they don't orally. They have transferred that we called as a folk folk practices
Knowledge.
in our country. So to preserve the novelty or the very precious practices by claiming the patent, by claiming authority on such practices, is there any provision in our this IP sections or laws?
Can you repeat your question again,
Please
please?
repeat the question.
Yeah, sorry. See, to preserve such kind of practices which are not documented but only in practice. So for that, is there any provision in our law to preserve that as a intellectual property of our practice like that?
There's no intellectual property rights associated, but under the National Biodiversity Authority, there's something called the People's Biodiversity Register. So if in case the plants are used, any genetic resources are used, okay, the associated traditional knowledge is documented under the People's Biodiversity Register. You'll get to know more about it perhaps in tomorrow's session.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, ma'am.
So there is one another question, Piyushji, from Pradeep Rajakji. He is asking how to file patent in India. So Pradeepji, there is a complete, process. है ना? So like we have patent acts, we have patent rules. So the Patent Act gives you the substantive laws, and the procedure is described in rules. So if you will go through the rules, it will tell you how to draft a patent application, what are the essential ingredients in terms of documenting. And moreover, we have no patent offices across our, there are 4 patent offices. अगर आप दिल्ली में हैं तो you can file in Delhi patent office. It's jurisdiction specific. अगर आप you are in West Bengal or Bihar, you can file in Calcutta. Okay, so if you are in Maharashtra, you can file in Mumbai, and likewise, in case you are in southern part, you can file in Chennai. So there are authorities where you can file. There are procedure laid down in patent rules, which will tell you how much fees is there, what are the forms, how to draft a patent application. So it's a complete process that is to be followed. And moreover, you will find patent agents and attorneys who are specifically doing this job. Or you can approach your organization in case you are from university or some research organization. So they have a division. Will guide you.
I think
So we
there's
take
one
voice.
question from Praful Kumar. Okay, he says if TK cannot be patented, then research done in IKS to revive and find older methods used for metallurgy, cosmetics, Ayurveda, all becomes redundant. NASA, there should be some way to overcome this. Yes, you have already mentioned there should be some way to overcome this, and that way is innovating further. You need to be creative. Maybe certain of the old processes may not be still valid today. You can come up with new processes. You may find, as somebody already mentioned, newer use for even an alloy or even herbal formulation. So there are ways, okay, in which you can be creative, innovate further. So this would be an IKS inspired innovation. So if you do so, you may be eligible for a patent grant or any other IPR grants.
From the audience, sir. Hello, Amrita ji or Devanjan. नमस्ते देवांजन जी। भावना जी। संदीप जी, नमस्ते।
Namaste, namaste.
Yes.
Sir, you said about that traditional knowledge cannot be patented if it is in written form. So, is there any specific reason behind that, or did I mishear it?
Yes, so it has already prior art information. Once it is already available, then it becomes prior art information. It is very similar to literature that we do, search in modern science and technology. If in case something is already known, you cannot go and patent it, right? So similarly, if traditional knowledge is already known and it is available as prior art literature, that cannot be patented.
One more thing I wanted to actually not ask, but wanted to know more from you guys. Could you please explain the case study of that turmeric patent and its revocation?
Wait until tomorrow, please.
Okay, okay. I'm
You'll
eager
get
to
to
know
more.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you'll get to know more about intellectual property rights in the context of traditional knowledge, both codified traditional knowledge and oral traditional knowledge.
Thank you. Thank you so much, ma'am.
There is one question from Dr. Durga Prasad Biswal. He says, I guess patents need to be disclosed, but trade secrets not. So one can manufacture some products already existing in market if the said product is not patented, but under trade secret. Please enlighten us on this. So sir, I just want to submit that patent rights are not granted for commercializing any product. These rights are to restrain others from copying your product. Okay, so they don't give you any marketing rights. दूसरा ये है कि when you are protecting something under trade secret, it has to be kept secret. So it's your duty to keep it secret. Okay, and it is secret until or till it is disclosed. Okay, so it can, I mean, it might be disclosed by your employees or by certain accidents also. So it's your responsibility. But if the said product is not patented, but under, yes, you can commercialize your product and you can keep it secret, but the whole liability of keeping this, I mean, secrecy lies on you. However, on the other hand,
We don't have trade secrets also, right, Anil?
so in case you get a patent, it's the responsibility of the authorities to ensure, in case you approach them, that those are not used, I mean, misused or, I mean, practiced without your authorization. So this is the basic difference between the two.
And I think in India, we don't have trade secrets, right, Anil?
There is no law, but the Contract Act itself plays a very important role.
Yeah, so that is all, but we don't have trade
We
secrets.
don't have a trade secret law. So we have to sign agreements and we have to pursue the I mean, the incidents in case something happens.
So it's almost
I think
5
let
o'clock.
let us stop if in case. Anil, what do you say?
Yes, ma'am, we can stop.
We can stop. And madam, if you want to say any words before
I
we
think one
close this
last
session.
question we'll take from Rupa Singh ji. She says, would Bikaner Bhujia processing service comes under GI or trade secret?
Bikaner Bhujia, see, I mean, if you see the law, GIs, the applicant for a GI application must be an association. But as far as I know, Bikaner Bhujia is owned by an industry. Okay, so basically Bikaner Bhujia is a trademark. So they may apply for a trademark registration for their own mark. Okay, but for being a GI, it has to be practiced in a geographical location by different producers, and the applicant has to be an association or, I mean, an agency which is working for the betterment of those people, and it has to be an application for their betterment. So I don't think an individual industry can apply for GI, although they can have a trademark registered for their product.
We'll stop now. Yes. Thank you.
Astu, we pranam to all of you. We will close with a Shanti mantra. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah Sarve Santu Niramayaha Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kaschit Dukkha Bhave Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. See you tomorrow.
Thank you, everyone.
See you tomorrow. Thank you so much, viewers. Thank you.